everyone and welcome to XX Mel's Potato Kitchen! Today we're making macaroni, tomato and meat and probably cheese too. So I'm gonna show you two versions of how I make these pasta. So first off, we chop the veggies that we picked. For this one I picked onion and mushroom. I had some garlic in the first picture, but when I cooked it, I wanted to do some roasted garlic in the oven. Turned out they weren't good anymore, unfortunately. So I didn't put any garlic in this. I've used garlic powder instead. So here you see me, I cut my veggies rather big because that's how I like it. But if you like smaller veggie, that's totally fine. Put that on the stove. Add the spice. I've put herbe de Provence herbs. And you cook until it looks cooked a tiny bit. Then you use some wine to deglaze the bottom of the pan and keep all that flavor. I did my recipe vegetarian, so here you see me put some vegetarian fake meat substitute thingy here. If you want to use real meat, I would suggest to start the meat with the onion and mushroom at the beginning so it can absorb all of that flavor. And then you mix, and once you're happy with how it's cooked, you're gonna start adding the tomato. Don't make a mess like I did. Here we go. Add 1 can of diced tomato and 2 cans of tomato soup. Then you mix. It should look like this. You wait until it's hot. Do a taste test. Does it taste good? If it does, you're good to go. If you need more seasoning, time to add more. I wanted more cheese flavor, so I added some cheese whiz, because why not? It's a little bit like Velveeta, so if you don't like cheese whiz, you can put Velveeta on. You can put Parmesan cheese if you feel fancy, some sharp cheddar, anything you have. This recipe is good for that. So here you go. Onion, mushroom, diced tomato, tomato soup, pasta. I've used penne because that's what I add. The herb of your choice, and don't make a mess like I did. I didn't have my colander clean for that recipe, so I had to use a small strainer and made a mess. My counter was clean, don't worry about it. And that's what it looks like. I'll put here the recipe so you can screenshot it. It made 5 to 6 portions approximately. And yeah, that was pretty good. It's an easy meal that you can change pretty much anything in there. If you like tomato and meat and cheese and pasta, this is the recipe for you. For the next recipe, I did kind of the same thing, but with a twist, so I can show you all the possibilities. So we start with fake meat again, because I don't like using ground beef, because I don't like touching bloody meat. Mushrooms, spinach, pepper, onion, tomato. I had a tomato left in my fridge, so I used it. Carrots, because why not? The pasta, obviously, and last but not least, garlic. I had garlic because I didn't film those the same day, and that is Quebec fresh garlic. It is huge. I'm trying to peel it, but I really struggle there. It took me a while, so I used some magic. Here we go. Magic. Who doesn't like magic? You're a wizard, Harry. Okay. Back to business. We are cutting the garlic to put in the pot. The smaller the better, so you really don't want it to be as small as possible to have as much flavor as you need. Then you cut the onion. I cut my veggies again. I cut them roughly because I like big chunks. That is my veg stock container that I put all my veggie scraps in there to be able to make vegetable for you guys eventually. Well, for me, but I'll show you guys eventually how to do it. So you cut the onion, put it in the pot because it's gonna be in the first things that we cook, as well with the garlic and the carrots. Again, mushroom, you can either put them really, really small, like chopped like almost like meat size, small chunks, like really, really small, like garlic, like the garlic. So you can either cut it really, really small or slices like me, or in quarters. Really, you do it like you want it. I did really small carrots. because I think that big chunk of carrots may be a little bit too much for this recipe. So I cut it in 4 and then did small cubes of carrots. Then I did rough cubes of tomato, removed the core, pretty easy, nothing too fancy here. And then tiny cubes of pepper, and it's pretty much all you need to do for those veggies. Next step is we're gonna put butter and start cooking the onion and carrot and start working on the seasoning. So in a small bowl, I added a big pinch of kosher salt, a lot of black pepper. I would say a good teaspoon of black pepper, freshly cracked black pepper. 2 big pinch of Mexican oregano, so maybe a teaspoon. That is chili powder. I put 2 big teaspoon of chili powder, 2 big teaspoon of cumin. It's taco seasoning, so that's the seasoning you need. 1 teaspoon of paprika. Then we add some coriander. I crushed it with a paper grinder thing. It worked well. I like this method. It's a lot easier. Then I forgot, but I also added some chipotle here and some chili flakes. Once the onion and carrots are softened, you add the spinach to the pot, and we're gonna soften the spinach as well so that they cook a little bit. Mix, mix, mix. Back on the oven. Next step will be to start prepping the vegetarian meat. If you use real meat, you put it at the beginning. Then you put the mushroom and the vegetarian meat in the pot. It looks like this, and back on the stove. Once you added the seasoning, when it was back on the stove, apparently I forgot that footage. So you had the crushed tomato with the pepper and the tomato. You put it back on the stove. When it looks like this, I decided to add some wine because I'm doing this from what my brain is telling me when I taste it and when I do it. And it did more liquid, so I added a whole can of diced tomato as well to add some liquid and some more veggies, and it looked good. So I put it back on the stove just to gain some temperature and started prepping the cheese. I had this cheese that was left in my fridge. So this recipe is basically just a recipe that allows you to use everything that you have left in your fridge and throw it in and do something good with it. So prep the cheese. Once the cheese is all prepped and everything, you want to have a safe oven container to put the sauce in and to transfer the pasta in as well, and be able to put that in the oven. So here I've put some cheese into the sauce, I grated more cheese to put on top, and mixed together everything, put the cheese on top, put that into the oven until it looked golden, just like this. So that's the recipe for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys will attempt in making it one day. It's a great recipe to have for lunch because it makes, again, like 5 to 6 portions depending on how much you eat. This one I think I made 7 bowls for lunches because I had 2 in the freezer. So yeah, that's a good recipe. It's easy to do. It takes like 30 minutes to do. It's a really fast recipe and it's fun because you can change literally every ingredient in here, and it's still gonna be good. So you don't have to follow the exact same recipe I did, but it's mostly to inspire you guys to do something like that. That's it for today. Here's the ingredient and the steps in the screen. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next week we will do something with the famous pumpkin we did in our first video. If you didn't see that video, go back and watch it, and like that you'll be ready for next week's video where we'll make a nice pasta sauce with that pumpkin. I'll see you guys next time. Follow me on all my social media, Twitter, Twitch, etc. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.